Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma, and we have many things to celebrate. Everybody always says how my colleague here and co-host Brian E. Roach has a lot of energy, and everyone gets to see him flex and do all kinds. It's because I'm the one who has to talk and carry his back. No, I'm just kidding. He shakes his head. He knows. He's still wearing his dirty, stinky Chase Claypool jersey that's been very lucky. Brian, he's number 11. Steelers could go 11-0. Wouldn't that be quite the omen here? Especially since, Kevin Colbert don't know what he's doing. He wasted a first-round draft pick. They didn't have one this year. Big Ben is all washed up, all these other things.
Holding
nonsense.
them back. He's holding them back, man.
10-0. The Steelers now are with a 27-3 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars that I thought was fairly conclusive. Of course, not perfect, but I don't think there's any reason for Steelers Nation to be complaining. I know you aren't, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I complained a little bit, by the way. I did complain during the game a bit. At one point, I tweeted out that the dark cloud of vulgarity over my house was growing. And then all of a sudden I didn't have to cuss anymore and it didn't matter. So I'm good, man. How can I complain? Look, I can complain mid-game, as can we all. We can all find things to whine and complain and be upset about at any given moment. But at the end of the game, if we've won, who cares? I don't care anymore.
Here's something that's interesting, Brian. And I think we alluded to this prior to the game, and I'm kind of upset because I'm going to call out some of the haters here during the show. I have Joe on today, and I don't have an away Terrell Edmonds or an away Minkah Fitzpatrick, but a lot of people were talking about how they were disappearing and whatnot. It doesn't seem that way anymore. But every single active player on the Steelers roster in this game today played in the game. They didn't let Mason Rudolph do anything, of course, but he still got in the game, and everyone else did as well. And they came out of this, as we wanted, fairly unscathed. You got to hope that Juju doesn't have a big boo-boo. And Zach Gentry,
whatever his toe issue is.
Yeah. And I think Mike Tomlin said he could have come back in had they needed him. And then Zach Gentry got hurt, so you got to hope that maybe Vance McDonald's coming off the COVID list. I know they had signed someone to the practice squad that could be elevated if they need a warm body, but you got to hope that's the worst case scenario. I think is we saw Gerald Hawkins was doing a little bit of the big man eligible type deal as the extra tackle. So I guess as far as game script, this went about the way we would have liked it to, even though I'm sure people were panicking because they went down 3-0 at the start. And then Chris Boswell, they jinx these guys when they talk about their streaks, don't they? It sure seems that way. And icing them, Joe Reuter had said that too. One of the Steelers beat writers, he said, "Oh, there's the classic icing the kicker in the first quarter." And Jacksonville, I guess, had 12 guys on the field,
right?
So they call a timeout, and they iced Boswell and killed his streak, which was the franchise long now. It was 25 straight consecutive, even over the great Sean Sweesham. So some other thoughts before we dig into the stats in the game here.
My other thought is if for some reason Vance the Vanimal is not able to go, it's your boy. It's your boy from Youngstown State, Kevin Radar. He's still on the practice squad.
Oh yeah. You know what?
Charles Jones is the other tight end that they signed.
That is correct. I tend to forget about. Hey, he's not really my boy. I don't want to act like I'm on a first name basis.
He's your boy.
But you know what? He shares we share a kindred as being former Penguins, so a very awkward football mascot, although there's many more in minor league baseball, by the way, but Jacksonville having one of them too. They're like the something shrimp, the Gulf shrimp or something like that. It's very bizarre, and that was the game we were both talked about going down to, and then I would have not enjoyed it because it was like raining off and on too, which you really didn't see on TV too well. They alluded
No,
to it a few
didn't.
times.
I know they talked about it at the beginning, but I couldn't tell it was raining.
Well, the fans in the stands all had like the rain ponchos on, and then you had the one guy in the overalls
there
that
were
just
fans in the stands.
There were fans in the stands.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't see.
Mostly Steelers fans.
I know.
Did you listen on the radio or something?
I heard that. No, they didn't seem to show the fans very much, or else I wasn't paying attention to them. But a couple tweets did indicate that there were quite a number of black and gold dressed fans there.
Yes, there were. Hey, I'm going to send you something here right now. I'll shoot it to you. Some people don't know. Sometimes we send the secret messages over here because we have computers and technology and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
so
that guy.
There's the guy right there.
Guy.
Yeah,
I thought
we
that
need to
was
put
a
him up there.
cardboard cutout.
No, that was not a cardboard cutout. that guy is a big boy too. Looks like he was probably an offensive lineman at some point. He's got the Dan Rudy tattoo on. If you didn't see him, he was wearing these blue jean overalls with the suspender straps and had this giant. Obviously, I assume would be a fake gold chain with the Steelers logo blinging hanging from it. So, and a big Bud Light in his hand too. So, it's funny. You know, they usually find they'll find kids. They never show people like me or you. They always find like the hot young ladies, or the people that are dressed incredibly crazy. The guy dresses like Andy Reid, something like that. With these things, and so they find this guy in the stands. It was kind of funny. It was. I love it. I love it. Steelers Nation everywhere. I don't even know that they showed Jacksonville fans in the stands for what little. It was still like a limited capacity, maybe 12,000 there or something like that. So not entirely
what I want to
full.
know is were the swimming pools open?
Oh, you know what? That's a great question. I would believe they are not. I would have to.
I mean, I would assume so. But, you know.
When I was there 2 years ago, I checked that out. I had to go by and just check it out. And it was still warm enough. It was around the same time of the year. It's still warm enough. I think it got up to like 79. Let me see. It says it in the game book. What was the official start time? 102. 72 they had on here. Humidity, though, 84%. Probably why it was raining. I'm sure that was miserable. You get rained on and then they have that. And then attendance. Oh, I'm sorry. They had more than that. They had 17,244 listed here. That might be, I don't know. That might be a record for this year. There's not, you know what I mean? Well, considering everything going on. So anyways, yeah, okay, we got you. If you're now following us on our YouTube channel to see all of Brian's mannerisms, don't. You might not want young children to walk into if you're watching this in the living room
unfair statement.
at home.
That is fake news. Fake news right there. It's not true.
No,
my mannerisms are perfectly family friendly.
So, Brian, Steelers win the toss and elect to defer. My favorite thing ever of all time.
Great.
Awesome. And then they allow the Jaguars to run 9 plays, 4 minutes, 52 yards. I didn't think it was anything too out of the ordinary. The out of the ordinary was Jake Luton actually connecting with, is it James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars? And I don't even want to look at their roster. Don't make me go on their website because I'm sure they still haven't updated the injury report.
Right.
DJ Hayden, I didn't know he was coming off of IR because they hadn't actually, their website was so horribly maintained coming into this. And then I'm like, oh, look, DJ Hayden, he's off of IR. Hey, how about that? He's playing. Then he got hurt again, as did the other safety. They just got the pick on their secondary. Their poor secondary. They just have no, you talk about bodies. They had nobody else left that was capable of playing. So they do have.
And I have a theory about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The Steelers are an empathetic group. The Steelers are a group that, well, maybe I'll talk about it in a little while. I just want to put out there that the Steelers have compassion for the other team.
You think so? Is that because of the 4th down play at the very end of the game, and they just decided to kneel?
Oh no, they knew they were gonna do that. That's just class. That's what that is.
But I don't expect Harbaugh to do that necessarily.
Yeah,
he was
has
crying
no
again.
class.
He was crying again.
Well, don't shake hands with me. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, the poor Jaguars were so depleted that the Steelers probably could have taken advantage of them over the top the entire game and just thrown for like 7,000 yards and scored 100 million points. But they chose not to. Instead, they said, let's try and run the ball.
Which, by the way, wasn't necessarily bad.
You were close.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was like 77 yards.
Bad.
It was I'll give Dale Lawley the credit from DK Sports on Pittsburgh. He was the one who had tweeted that out. Steelers with 23 total first downs in this game to the Jaguars 14. 7 of those rushing, 12 passing, 4 by penalty. Woof. Yikes, ugly for the Jaguars all the way around. Steelers were 41% on third down. The Jaguars were 31%. It's probably about where you want them. But it just the number of plays, it was 73 for the Steelers on offense versus 56 for the Jaguars. You know what that means, Brian? That Steelers defense is well rested at home. Turkey Day coming up. I'm excited about it. We're going to talk a little more about that probably on another podcast coming up if we could squeeze one in before then.
Sure we
so, 267 yards passing, a 106 rushing. I was looking for 150, but they still hit over the century mark. James Conner, how many carries did he end up having? 13. So I said they didn't run the wheels off of him either. They used Benny Snell 7 times, Anthony McFarland 3 times. A really odd situation where Ray McLeod was in the backfield. I gotta wonder, did Ben audible? Did they have a bad substitution? Like, what the deal was with that play?
But before we get off this running thing, we have to talk about it. I see again. This comes down to me feeling like the Steelers just didn't want to take advantage of a depleted Jaguars defense, because you've got a guy in James Conner whose style is bruising up the middle kind of back, and you're sending him off wide. You got a speed back, Anthony McFarland, who's going to be able to take those edges and get those corners. Instead, you send him up the middle. Maybe it's just because, Mike Tomlin likes that to get everybody involved in all positions, right? I don't know. And he's like, well, you need to learn how to run up the middle. This is a perfect time for you to try and do that. James, why don't you go ahead and try and run outside some more? We'll let you do that. Benny, do whatever the hell you're going to do. We don't care.
Got a first down, so Benny Snell
and
football.
He got a touchdown. Got a touchdown, too.
Yeah. You know what? I got Connor on my fantasy team, and it's just absolutely killing me. But I also have Claypool, too, who I took my last pick. 14-team league, very deep league that I'm in, and got him. But I'm, near the bottom because I'm just ravaged. The injuries and everything have killed my team, and let's not talk about Le'Veon Bell at all either. So
yeah, forget that.
Yeah, but he was like a 4th, 5th round pick. So
I don't want to berate Mr. Fichtner too much. And I'm not one of the crowd that says when every time a play is bad, it's Randy's fault, and every time a play is good, it's Ben's fault. I don't agree with that either. There were some good play calls in this game, and I don't know that Ben was the one that called them. So I'll give him credit. Sometimes he does it right. But, man, sometimes he also just confuses the absolute blank out of me. I don't get the way they were utilizing those backs today. It made no sense. And everyone in the entire world commented on it.
Yeah, Brian, to support your point with running the football, the Steelers did exactly not that. On their first drive, pretty much. It was Ben pass short right, Connor right end, then it was Ben pass incomplete, pass short right, pass incomplete on 3rd and 3, and then the aforementioned timeout number 1. They missed or timeout number 1 by Jacksonville, that is. Chris Boswell, 45-yard field goal is no good, wide left. I don't know what the deal was with that. Steelers defense gets the job done here, and I know they weren't necessarily just stuffing them at first. We saw what James Washington was capable of doing. Luton, he did what he could do. I mean, this guy, what is he, he was a 6th round pick, right? I'm looking him up right now.
6th round. Yeah,
pick 189 this year. Let's see. Oregon State. That's what it was. I knew it wasn't regular Oregon. I had to double check here. But you know what, though? Their team's so bad to begin with. I hate to really just run them through the mud. But if that guy had a little bit more of a supporting cast to him, he may not have been as bad. And you also got the undrafted guy, Robinson, as a running back who has surpassed any and all expectations, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
You look at this game overall, and you're still thinking, okay, should I be worried? We saw Jeff Driscoll come in Denver. We saw Garrett Gilbert in Dallas. Is there going to be some of these same kind of things? Will they keep it close to the vest? They missed the field goal. They're down 3-0 to start, and you're starting to think that maybe this is like the pattern again where they play down to their opponent as everyone thinks they do. I wasn't panicking right away. In fact, these games are starting to get boring. They win them all. You know what I mean? It's like, do I start turning in past halftime, or what goes on here?
I going that far.
I kid. I joke. I'm not going as far as to run the tables yet. Let's see what happens Thursday, and then beyond that, they would have 5 more games if they happen to beat the Ravens in their house, which I believe they will. And then we could start talking about that because they'll have like a little bit of a mini bye to prepare before they go and they host the second home game in a row with the Washington football team. And then it's the Bills, Bengals, Colts, and Browns. I mean, that's still – they'll be a little formidable. We don't know exactly. It sounds like Joe Burrow's out for the season.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah.
Torn ACL at least, maybe an MCL too.
Oh, did you hear anything official? I just heard like knee injury when I heard it, but I saw that he tweeted out, "I'll see you next year" or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. So I mean, you just never know what will happen there. But anyways, Jake Luton, this is a guy who just leapfrogged. They were saying he was like Mike Glennon, and it's like, why would you draft him if you thought he was the next Mike Glennon? I don't know. Leapfrogs Mike Glennon on the depth chart, which can't be good for Mike Glennon, but I guess he's still employed with an NFL team. So you get through this first quarter. The Steelers have a drive that gets to the Jacksonville 42. And it stalls and everything's stalling and you're like, why is this always got to be so flat? And I'm trying to find the possession chart here. So this was they had 9 plays, 53 yards, and it ends with a punt. Yep. And then finally they get another drive that after they forced Jacksonville, they had a 3-play, 5 yards with a punt, and then 3 plays for 1 yard with a punt here as you enter into the second quarter. There was some good stuff. I mean, the Steelers just kind of clamped down on defense. They finally get that drive. They get a field goal to tie it up. You're feeling a little bit better about some of the things that are going on. And then they get the ball back. You have a little bit of you have a penalty in this. Well, I'm sorry. After the field goal, that was another 3 and out for the Jaguars. So the defense is doing their job. Ben Roethlisberger's connecting with guys like Juju. We saw a lot of the Deontay Johnson stuff in space and trying to break tackles, as we talked about before. James Washington getting involved in the game as well. A nice third down grab for 12 yards right along the boundary. Somewhere in here too, there was a Chase Claypool call where I forget who was doing the play-by-play in the color, and they were like, did he get both feet in? I was like, there's no doubt. This guy, he's entering already. He's on pace. No one would think he would break it. What was it, Randy Moss, 17 touchdowns as a rookie? And there's a strong possibility he's on pace to break that right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. So where am I at here? Steelers end up finding that's where I'm talking about. Ben Roethlisberger finds Chase Claypool, who just beats his man. There was probably maybe one questionable call or non-call in this game, but it's like I don't think any of these guys can cover Chase Claypool. It's just we talked about Joe Flacco heaving the ball up with the Torrey Smith thing before, but this is legitimate. If this guy doesn't get held, grabbed, or interfered with, these are touchdown plays, and this is the reason why these defenders. Absolutely. This is the reason why these defenders are basically tackling them on the field.
Yeah, and the refs are allowing it. Basically, it's I've tried so hard to be good, man, but I watched the Ohio State game and they stink. They stinked it up they were so freaking bad in the Ohio State game. And then, you come here and you go, okay, I can let pass interference go if you're going to if you're not going to just call it. You're never going to call it at all. Fine. Then I'll live with it. But then they call I don't remember who they called for. Or Terrell Edmonds. They get called for a rinky-dink baloney pass interference call where Chase Claypool's getting mugged all the way down the field. Guy's got his jersey. Somebody on Twitter tweeted out,
shove in the back.
Shove in the back. Tweeted out, you got so much of his jersey, why don't you fold it for him? And I thought that was great. I don't remember.
Traded after the game. They can't even do that. The COVID thing, they have to wash it and then ship it or something. Yeah.
They're so bad. They're so god-awful bad. And then somebody, we understand that TJ's not going to get a lot of holding calls. He did get one in this game, and it was a miracle. But He's not going to get him. And yet at some point in the game where everybody is watching TJ come around the edge and get neck tackled or whatever, I think one of the Steelers broadcasters from DVE or from one of the AM ESPN stations, I can't remember what his name is, Hunter or who I don't remember what his name is.
If it's Hunter, he's with DK Sports as well.
There you go. Maybe. Yeah, it was him. And, he tweets out, he goes, what does TJ Watt have to do to get a holding call? And I can't say exactly what I said in response because we are a family-friendly class, but I said, I believe what will have to happen is the offending player will have to grab the referee by his private area and indicate to him, excuse me, sir, I'm holding. Would you please throw the flag? At which point the ref will then go, nah, I don't want to.
No, what are you holding exactly in that situation? So, yeah, it was the Steelers started to turn it on here. They didn't look back. They go up 10-3. Jake Luton, you had unnecessary roughness, Steven Nelson penalty. You had let's see. They convert a first down here, there. We talked about Chris Conley and that connection earlier, and that actually turned out pretty well. That was one of the bright spots, I think, on the Jacksonville for their offense. Let me see here. No, maybe not. That was the only catch he had. 1 for 13. I mean, they got DJ Chark going, 4 for 41. But, I mean, Jake Luton was not getting, 43%? Where was it at? Yeah, 43.2% completion percentage. Holy cow, man. That's just not good if you're in the National Football League.
This is also great. And I got to give the DK guy, I can't remember, Dijon.
Hunter, Dijon.
Dijon, he had the credit for this one. He basically, and Dale Lally had a nice one about this too. Basically, they were like tracking Luton's quarterback rating. And I think it was either Lally or Dijon that said his quarterback rating was 30, but by the time he got off the field, apparently he didn't do that well enough, and it dropped another 1/10 of a point. And what's at the end of the game? 15. 15.
0.5. We can give him like just that little smidge more. It bumps him up a little bit for the career statistic. I mean, what else did you expect going up against the Steelers? He throws 4 picks. One of the first ones comes here right on this actual series. This is the one where he overthrows Tyler Eifert. He missed him sitting in between the zones behind, I believe, Joe Hayden or somebody playing linebacker, perhaps. Could even been Vince Williams. I can't remember. And overthrew it, and Edmonds was right there. And, hey, it doesn't get any easier than that. Somebody's going to be like, hey, a broken clock is right twice a day. Well, he was really right on the second one. He was right there and ready to go. So, and I think some of that has to deal with maybe some of the adjustments in coverage from not having Devin Bush, too.
I'm sure.
So we'll see if this was just a one-time deal, or is the guy starting to flash, and now you're really going to be scared of this defense because you got another guy that's going to jump routes and do some crazy stuff. And, but this one was actually not Terrell Edmonds. This one was Minkah Fitzpatrick. This was down at the Steelers 11, and you kind of almost had the feeling, look how fast he was running, man. I'm like, oh, my God, he could go he didn't, but
not quite.
Got him up to he got 37 yards on it. The Steelers then at their 39, they get Connor going. They get Ebron going. They get past the Connor, past the DJ here on a 3rd and 10. He goes for 20 yards. Steelers wisely use a timeout because we're beyond the 2-minute warning now, I should also note. Mrs. Eric Ebron gets another deep pass to Deontay Johnson, which when he caught it, he got up so high, man. I didn't even think it was him. I thought at first that was Juju. And because I only saw the one on the shoulders when I first saw the play, and I was like, holy crap, Johnson could get up there too, man. I was kind of surprised. I know Washington could get up there, and Claypool, does he need to get up there? The guy's big as it is. Yeah, he's already up there. So then they put Benny Snell in the vulture touchdowns away from my guy James Conner on my fantasy team. So, but hey, he punches it in. I'm happy. You're getting some rest again there is one of the things we were talking about in this game. Mixing some of these guys in, getting them some playing time and some experience, plus giving a breather and getting prepared for Thursday. That's a good thing there. So the Jacksonville Jaguars run basically 2 plays here. They use their final timeout They get a 19-yard pass to DJ Chark here. They get almost out to the middle of the field, and he looks for Tyler Eifert again. This is the one that went to Terrell Edmonds, and you're thinking the Steelers are going to get some points here. Ben does as Ben does. They actually ran a ball here that I don't think on their 35 that they were just going to try and chew up some clock with 20 seconds left. And Connor goes off for 12. They had 2 timeouts still in their back pocket. They burn one of them. Yeah, and then he misses Claypool here. I can't remember if this one was kind of clean or not. I know we can complain.
No, he was mugged.
This another? He had his jersey pulled on this one too.
He was mugged. It was ridiculous.
It just it amazes me. They did get the one. They got the. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Is this the one they got?
This is the one they got. This is the one they got 29 yards enforced, because this was the one where he got practically tackled. He got hit twice on the route. And I was watching one of the referees. Got his hand. He's got his hand right in front. He had the flag out. And he's looking at the other guy.
It back.
And he was going to put it away, but I think it was just because the other guy had already called it. We didn't see the hinky on the field.
This is the way I saw that, because I talked about this on Twitter, and this is my biggest issue with refs. This is what he does. He's like, yeah, it's definitely maybe it's not. I don't know. Should I be the... Oh, are you going to call it? Oh, I don't have to anymore? Okay, thank you. I don't have to stick my neck out to make a call. I can just let somebody else deal with it. I'm too indecisive. You saw it. You saw it the first time. Throw the daggone flag.
Novak's crew, by the way, is the one with the least amount of penalties thrown in games per average the whole year. Bill,
that's why they're afraid. They don't trust what they see. They're a bunch of idiots, and they look at a play and they go, I don't know if that's a penalty or not.
Hey, I've been doing better with my voice now too. Don't make me lose it again. Bill Vinovich. His crew is the one. I don't know if we've had Bill yet this year or not, but he very well could have the Thursday game for all I know. But I hear he's the second least penalizing referee. And we already got Tony Corrente out of the way, so you know what that all means. Cleet Blakeman's coming Thursday. And he has a history of doing these games and screwing them up between the Ravens and Steelers. And I am just, knock on wood somewhere, wherever you can find it, on the head there. Yeah, that's not the guy we want on this game. You got to hope he's not assigned to it. So after that, of course, Ben tries to force something to happen. And I swear Eric Ebron got a little bit of the little waggle-wiggle whatever.
I couldn't tell who he
shoved
was
off
trying
the route
to hit
too.
there, yeah, but
got shoved off the route too, and they
did get bumped off the route. That interception when you're talking
about. Yeah, and
he
they're
got
just
bumped off the route. Absolutely, they called it a great play.
I know they mentioned it on TV, and then of course time expires. They don't get anything right there.
And then you're going okay. They're going to come out at halftime because they deferred. And they're going to march down the field, and they're going to score, and this game is going to be over already, and
all the way down to which ones do I have to hold up so everybody sees them right? The 24-yard line, their own 24-yard line. Yeah. They didn't escape. In fact, they lost 2 yards with Ray McLeod. Yeah, and then Anthony McFarland tripped up. Ben couldn't find James Washington. Jordan Berry. Cannon of a leg, guys.
Telling you,
refocused. I'm telling you, I liked him to begin with. I've never been off the bandwagon.
Well, look,
we just knew his job was volatile.
We've never been anti-Jordan Berry.
Yeah,
but Jordan Berry has not had this cannon leg. I'm just telling you, dude's going to get. He's going to get tested for performance-enhancing drugs.
He's had the cannon leg. I don't know if he's had something else going on. Where was he from? Eastern Kentucky? Yeah, Eastern Kentucky. There was videos that came out. He's an Aussie, as we know. Yes. He's like one of the Australian rules type variety of these punters. I always knew he was capable. He's finally showing it. Had a good time.
8 years? How many years?
Took getting fired. To remotivate him, and then Dustin Colquitt not doing too strong, which I think
got some prednisone for his inflamed area.
wherever it was there. Maybe somebody was holding him, Brian. The holding. Okay, yeah, I got the guy a little too excited there. Decent, okay. Well, I won't say decent. An okay drive here with the Jaguars because field position wise, they really weren't getting out to like the 50-yard line, but they stringed together a couple of first downs here. He did finally connect. Luton did with Tyler Eifert for the first time. this isn't the first time either. I watched some of the other Jacksonville games, including, like I said, the one last week with Green Bay Packers. He has not been on page with Tyler Eifert at all, and I don't know if that's Eifert or the rookie QB. That's just not been a good connection. And when you see like a lot of these plays or the turnovers surrounded Eifert, I was not surprised at all while watching this game unfold. Let's see. Bud Dupree is offside. Then they get it right back because there's a false start with the running back. Luton misses Tyler Eifert once again. Let's talk about this. Stephon Tuitt credited here with a little bit of pressure. There's another false start that happens here, and then you have Luton sacked for a loss of 9 by Stephon Tuitt.
Finally.
Almost a strip sack. He ends up self-recovering or not totally losing the ball to begin with. Yeah, the streak was in jeopardy here. You wanted 7 sacks. They didn't quite get there. But what has surprised me this year when they threw the graphic up, how have we missed this? You know what I'm talking about? Stephon Tuitt has how many sacks? 7 sacks this year.
He does not have 7 sacks. He has 7 sacks.
I said sacks.
You said sex.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what you said.
I'm trying to. It's
okay.
It's the gobbler here that's not working here on my throat. I'm still working on this. So, just coming into the game, I didn't realize he was third behind Bud and TJ. Yeah. I mean, that's we always talk about how he's a grown ass man, or even Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward was just the 2 so far this season. I mean, it's
a ton of pressures. Cam's got a lot of pressures.
Oh yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster. He's still a monster. Dupree added to his total 2, so they got 2 sacks in this game. Not as much. I said the guy moves around in the pocket. He gets rid of the ball where he needs to, but unfortunately he got rid of it where he doesn't need to also. So this is another punt here. Steelers get the ball and still do nothing with it.
The third quarter was the most boring football game I've watched all season.
Well, that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. I was ready to take a nap. Wake me up when it's like the fourth quarter, and then we'll see what's going on. But they lose Jared Allen, too. Yet another guy they could not afford to lose. It's just bodies dropping everywhere. Jordan Berry only gets off a 40-yard punt here. And then you got a lot of the same stuff. This was the one that, let me see, there was a 4th and 1, and then it was a delay of game. They took the delay of game. They were down.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Let's delay a game with our punter, then send the offense back out, and then realize we're idiots and send the punter back out. I'm sure Terry's going to talk about that tomorrow because WTF.
Yeah. Or no, she'll still, usually Tuesday. She's been out on Tuesdays. We used to do the whole Wednesday thing. Maybe we'll have a shorter turnaround time. I don't know. Who's got the Monday night game? Is it even worth waiting around for? It's the Rams and Bucks.
Yeah.
Rams and Bucks. Chiefs and Raiders shortly here after we're finished recording. So you still got a lot of the same stuff going on here. The Steelers drive, stalls, they don't do a whole lot. They did go on 4th down. They did pick up a 4th down conversion here, and I believe that they had 2 in the game total just the 1 here that they had converted on, and by running the ball too. That's. And
it was a nice run by James Conner to pick that. That was
17 yards.
Examples. That was a nice call.
Yes, you weren't expecting it though. You're expecting him to get dropped for a loss of 2 and a turnover on downs. So then they shoot themselves in the foot. False start by Matt Filer. Then a short little dinky pass on 2nd and 15 for only 2 yards to Deontay Johnson. And then Ben tries to find Ebron on some haphazard pass down the field. And Jordan Berry gets some more work for 48 yards. And it's still 17-3. You're just kind of not feeling as comfortable about this, even though Steelers are possessing the ball. And they totally owned at the time of possession, 36-29 to 23-31. A full, almost 2 seconds shy of 13 minutes more possession in this game, which was crazy. You get to the 4th quarter, you're like, hey, could something else happen here? Well, the Jaguars, you get Terrell Edmonds, the pass interference you were talking about, only 7 yards, so not the biggest loss in the world. And then Luton on 3rd down gets sacked by Bud Dupree, the other sack that happened in this game. And then their punter Cook kicks one from the 26, 62 yards to Ray McLeod, who sometime during this game had daylight in front of him and called a fair catch.
Yeah. This was not Ray Ray's greatest day. And somebody had actually tweeted they wondered if Ray was channeling his inner Ryan
Switzer. Yes, I was going there. I almost tweeted it and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's just
don't be putting the kibosh. Don't put the kibosh on Ray.
We do this. The guy, if Miles, I don't know if Miles.
Do that. My wrist is hurt. I
don't know if Miles. I got to get a little. Not the NWO Too Sweet thing. This is like the little kibosh, the two fingers with the bullhorn thing, with the pinky and the index finger.
I'm giving you a Seinfeld reference. That's what I'm doing. He's going to put the kibosh on me. This is Crazy Joe DeBola. He's going to put the kibosh on me. I got to get out of here.
Hey, you know what? I didn't tweet this out. I should probably put it out on my public Twitter, but I did. I mean, you're one of my personal friends on Facebook, unfortunately. But went to eat yesterday. We went out to eat, and somebody had a picture of the Soup Nazi signed, autographed with a ladle.
I saw that. I did.
The ladle was signed. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
So, and it said "No soup for you," whatever the actor's name was. That was pretty cool. But the kibosh, if Miles, if you happen to watch or listen to this, man, I miss you this year. He's always sitting next to me. It's like being in a mosh pit. He gets really excited. Bought me a birthday beer for the Dolphins game last year. I still owe him.
What day was that yesterday?
What? How? What? Yeah. What
was this yesterday that you went out and had soup?
Well, I didn't have soup. That's the thing that was confusing. I barely had soup on the menu. I think they had a broccoli cheddar was the soup of the day.
What day was that yesterday?
It was a Saturday.
And what was the date of that day?
The 21st.
What is that day?
I don't know, man. Thanksgiving is Thursday. I don't know where you...
It was my birthday.
Oh, yeah, it was your birthday. Happy birthday. I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't on Facebook. Jeez, we got all kind of personal stuff interjecting here. I am sorry. I apologize, folks. The Soup Nazi was on my brain, and he's talking about the kibosh. And, you know, we always do that, though, at Heinz Field. We try to put the kibosh on the punters and the kickers and stuff like that. And this guy kicks it 62 yards, this Cook from Jacksonville. Steelers get the ball on their 26. We'll see if they're going to end up doing whatever. But, yeah, Ray looked like Ryan out there for that one. I was
wasn't good.
Thoroughly confused by that. So during this Clay Brooks, another defensive back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, attempts to throw his name in the hat to cover Chase Claypool and gets injured during the play. And you're just like, man, these guys, they're going to have to start putting wide receivers or somebody out. You're going to have DJ Chark or Keelan Cole or somebody out there.
I don't know how many bodies they got left.
Well, that's how they hurt John Ross in Cincinnati. The guy, they had him running
playing
a defensive drill,
yeah.
playing corner, and he got hurt. That guy can't buy luck. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Roethlisberger finds Eric Ebron on a 3rd and 1. Yay! You're like, hey, this connection's right here. A couple of incomplete passes. DJ Hayden, though, gets tagged with another pass interference call on 3rd and 10. That probably would have been another surefire touchdown. I think we all think they would all be touchdowns, but man, it's Chase Claypool just, again, cannot say enough of how difficult he is to cover. And no matter what Martavis Bryant says on Instagram, I don't think so, bro. I mean, sorry.
I love you, Martavis, but no, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, we're all about the chase right now, and
I just bought a new shirt,
another one,
a new.
Oh, you could never have
shirt.
enough.
A Claypool with the Deadpool. Have you seen it online?
Oh no, I had not, or maybe I did.
The little Deadpool in yellow and black and gold, and it says Claypool at the bottom. It's as Zach Adonia would say, It's lit. It's fire.
It's lit. I don't know. He may have new buzzwords beyond that.
I don't know.
I've seen the Mapletron with the Canadian maple leaf with the Transformers logo kind of transposed together. But anyways, Chris Boswell here ends up with a 47-yard field goal when Ben Roethlisberger tries, I don't know who he was looking for on 3rd and 2, but a little dump off to James Conner that lost yards. Just
didn't work.
Something didn't work there. Somebody didn't run the right route. Maybe there was good coverage. I mean, everybody was hurt. I don't know what happened there. So it's 20-3. The Steelers finally get back on the board. First time in the second half.
Woohoo! 3
and
points.
It's like, yes. And you know you were worried whether Boswell would miss that from 47 yards based on what happened earlier in the game. So it was still in the back of your mind. Maybe.
Not me. No. I have all faith in Boz. No, I had no concerns.
So the next possession, of course, ends with a Jake Luton deep pass for DJ Chark that's picked off by Terrell Edmonds, who is just the interception machine. Are these his first interceptions ever in his career?
He He had one.
Yeah, he had
3.
one. Because, I mean, we talk about this, and it's not because he's a bad player. It's about opportunity and where he is on the field. And Ryan Clark wasn't exactly the interception machine in his career either. So, yeah, I was looking this up. He had one back in 2018. So they're going to add 2 here to his tally. It's tripled up now for his career, which, hey, kudos to him. He gets a grown-ass man award.
All up from here. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, needles up there. Oh, absolutely. He's got to get one, especially if he had 2, but especially
double up. I got to give you one. Yeah.
And this one wasn't a gimme. This one was making a play.
Right. Let me do it right. Terrell Edmunds, you're a grown ass man. There you go. Grown ass man award for Terrell Edmunds.
There's definitely something in the water in the Edmunds household and the Watt family. I don't know if they share recipes, but all those guys, man, all pro football players. It's unbelievable. So. So the Steelers actually take advantage of this now. They get the ball right smack dab in the middle of the field on the 50. James Conner runs for 3 yards. Then he loses one. And then Ben's like, okay, I'll throw it to Ray McLeod, who gets hit right on the logo on the side of his helmet. Because it's only on one side for the Steelers, of course. There's somebody talking about that online, too. And I'm like, no.
Is this the second illegal use of the helmet or whatever the heck they called unnecessary use of the helmet? When did they change that to be that? Isn't it just unnecessary roughness? They had to say unnecessary use of the helmet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just the way the style or personality of the official or whatever it is, but it's lowering the head to initiate contact as illustrated in the game book. Yeah.
I just thought it was stupid.
15 yards. Well, I actually thought Bud was going to get tagged for the tackle.
Choking?
And yeah, it was like he didn't have a horse collar. He didn't hit him in the helmet. He didn't get him in the face mask, but yet somehow he put him in practically a front face lock and took Luton down on that play. Ben Roethlisberger finds Eric Ebron 20 yards. Eric Ebron just padding his totals. Anybody who took him in fantasy, you're really living and dying by the sword because his numbers, not the biggest numbers necessarily. 3 touchdowns. He has 31 receptions, 323 coming into this game, but we're talking like 1 or 3 catches here or there. He had 2 against the Bengals for 38. He had 3 for 22 in a TD the game before, so he's not necessarily always lighting the scoreboard on fire, but he does appear to be one of Ben's favorite targets thus far this season, and that is his 4th touchdown reception on the year. And there was some graphic about him and Kelsey or whatever, and I know that was predicated a lot. I hate when they cherry pick since whatever date this guy is second and whatever. You can really manipulate the stats to look like that all the time, but I'll take the 4 touchdowns that he's had, and I'll also I'll take Chase Claypool as well, because I know a lot of people, why another wide receiver and all this other stuff as we were hearing coming in to the season, and it's like he's getting closer and closer here for double digits here, so it's just scary to see coming into this game. I don't have the updated stats, but you had 2 guys over the half-century mark. Claypool had 500 right on the nose. Juju had 516. If Deontay Johnson had been healthy, he'd probably have over 500. And I believe with this game, probably nudged him over the 500 mark. Oh, yeah, he had 111. So he came in with 426. There's like 3 guys that you still have 6 games left. You could have multiple 1,000-yard receivers without anybody named Martavis, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, any of these guys, any combination. I would have never thought that coming in necessarily. And Juju's been doing it very quietly. As someone had noted, a lot of his are moving the chains on third downs. He's become the steady hand, Hines Ward, Heath Miller type guy that Ben looks for on third downs.
Yeah, look, I mean, Chase is I keep saying it. There's a reason I don't buy offensive player stuff in their first years. But, I had a feeling, man. I had a feeling.
On the bandwagon. The maple
maple
drove
syrup
this damn bandwagon.
I was driving this bandwagon. I was in charge of the bandwagon. The hell with getting on board. You guys are getting on my bandwagon.
Hey, I had a friend he never watches this show. It's clear by all the questions he asks me all the time on Facebook, on game day no less. And it's like, I'm going to repeat everything that we talk about for practically an hour. And he asked me about Bud Dupree and any type of regression or why is he so inconsistent. I'm like, he's had like 4 stripped sacks this year. Leave the guy alone. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about regression? He's one behind TJ or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I'm like, what are you watching the same game? It's just kind of the fans that are out there. I don't know. Casual fans are just not paying close enough attention to some of this stuff. But Minka Fitzpatrick strikes again. Kind of just gave himself up on this one. I'm like, get off, run, do something Troy-like. So please, that's what we want to compare you to. Do something great, man. The interception wasn't good enough. The catch, keeping it off the ground, that's not good enough. Get up and run and try
run
and get
around
a touchdown.
like a crazy person. Yeah,
yeah, chicken with your head cut off or something.
Speaking of, I got to give this plug. I think you probably know what plug I'm going to give, but he was just on the show, Jim Wexell.
Oh yeah,
doing
we're getting
Troy Polamalu.
Yes,
you know that, right? And it's coming out Black Friday, so I'm just telling you, Wex knows. So buy the book.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he wanted us to. I was going to ask him if he wanted us to promote that just yet. I know he's put a little bit out there, but I don't want him to be overwhelmed.
A lot of people have been asking about it. A lot of people have been asking.
Yeah, so hold your trigger finger there. I may be on the inside track of.
You can't get it anyway, so.
Oh,
you gotta wait until Black Friday.
Well,
on Amazon.
I happen to. Well, no, you want to buy it directly through his website, which will be jimwexell.com.
Oh,
and
okay.
I may have some inside knowledge as to getting some of it. He's already had some purchases, but all of the product isn't in his possession yet to ship out. But if you go directly through Jim and his website, and that's 2 L's on Wexell, he will not only personalize the copy for you, but 20% of the purchase there also goes towards Troy Polamalu. I forget the exact foundation name. See, I wasn't prepared for this. I was going to talk about this on the next one because this just kind of got soft launched and it wasn't like the grand opening just yet, Brian. But you let the cat out of the bag. I'll have to let him know now.
I'm too excited about it.
When he gets 1,000 orders tomorrow morning.
Buy the book.
His inbox. Yes. But 20% of the proceeds go to the Troy and Theodora Polamalu Foundation. All the extra benefits going directly through the author's website here if you're interested in Troy Polamalu's autobiography, ghostwritten or co-written or whatever by Jim Wexell, I guess, as you would
I just
say.
bought it. I just bought it right now.
Yeah, I got one on the way too, but like everybody else, I got to wait for it. So
yeah, that's okay. I just bought it. That's all I care about. I bought it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, do something Troy-like. Do something great. Yeah, I mean, that was a good point to put that out there for a good friend of ours who's been a Steelers beat writer for a minute or two out there. And also, Steel City Insider, also his website there, if you go to visit. Anyways, yeah, Minka gets that interception. This is now Mason Rudolph time. 5:57 left in the game.
Is that what we call Is that what we call coming in and taking a couple snaps? Mason Rudolph time.
Mason Rudolph time. Mason Rudolph. It would be garbage time if you were on the losing side of it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they call it. Recycling time. Rest time. Benny Snell. That's all he did. Handed it off 3 times. Benny Snell did not get 10 yards there, and then the Steelers took a delay of game. They were at the 50. Jordan Berry pooch punt. 40 yards, and of course Jake Luton doesn't do a whole lot here. Cam Sutton nearly with an interception today. He nearly did the Willie Gay dance.
Bud almost had one too. Bud should have had a pick 6, man.
Right in the breadbasket, man.
Bud,
I mean,
hit the jugs machine, Bud. Bud, you got to hit that jugs machine, man. You should have had that.
Yeah, when you do, Bud, if you're listening, the next time Bud brings a buddy, just bring the jugs machine. Don't bring something else.
Yeah, bring the jugs machine as your buddy. That should be your number 1 buddy now.
And Alex Highsmith all over the place too.
Oh, love seeing that man out there. Love seeing Alex Highsmith out there.
I would like to see what the snap counts were officially for him, but I guess we'll get that at a different point. But they're utilizing these guys all over the field, and it was a pretty, I would say, solid showing by the Steelers. They didn't necessarily look weak, I don't think, at any one point. And I don't think they really, it's not like this was a game where they had to go for the jugular, so to speak. They kind of just let it settle in and controlled everything how they needed to control it, and then that's it. They're looking for that on Thursday. and you get a little bit of a help. Now the Cleveland Browns have leapfrogged the Baltimore Ravens in the division. So the Ravens may not even be the team to worry about. You're still going to want to put them away. Oh, I know. It breaks my heart.
You hate to see it, don't you? No, you don't. You love to see it. You love to see it.
I think in our little, it's not a survivor pool, but the weekly picks that we do, I think I took Tennessee, to be honest. I took a couple upsets this week.
I've been out of my survivor pool since like the second week.
That's usually what happens to me, too. So, I don't know, Brian. I don't have a whole lot else. We went through the entire game here. I don't have a whole lot else, really, to cover. I mean, we talked about being pretty much injury-free, getting some guys a little bit of rest, whatever the rotations end up being with the snap counts. It appeared. It looked like Avery Williamson was getting some time out there to get acclimated as well.
You know how I like to call out the big names out there, like the Mark Maddens and the others such as...
Oh, no, never. You've never done anything of the sort.
I've never done... Colin Cowherd, you're an idiot. 16-0 Ravens. How you
He had the wrong graphic. That's it. That's the excuse he could use.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
I think somebody was asking, and there was someone in the comments that was talking about something with Stephen A. Smith, and I don't necessarily dislike Stephen A. Smith. I don't necessarily even dislike Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. I think some of these guys, even Charles Barkley, some of these, depending on the sports and everything that you're watching,
terrible. It's just terrible.
Terrible. I always say terrible. My kid hears me somewhere over here. She's going to start saying it too. There was.
I got no problem with Steven. I got no problem with Shannon. You can't. No, Skip Bayless can go stick.
Hey, I missed this because I was busy and you had your birthday. Let's see. You called into. Somebody was talking about, you called in a question Stephen A. Smith's credentials. They should be, but then say something completely asinine about Derek Watt. Doesn't make too much. He's a special teams guy. He doesn't make as much. The whole comparison was that he's a much more complete player at a cheaper price than Tyler Matakevich. Sorry, the point went over your head. Should have stuck with Rosie or Johnson.
Maybe Johnson hasn't played for a long time.
Or Will Johnson, or I don't know which Johnson we're talking about here, but okay.
Maybe it's the Johnson that I said they had to grab on the ref. I don't know.
And then somebody was saying, sorry guys, if you start talking crap about Big Ben Roethlisberger, I'll unsubscribe you. When have we ever talked crap? This was all in defense. I think some people jump into these videos, they try and skip along some of our small talk, and they miss some of the points that we make. We completely defended this because if he's completing these pass interference calls, the ones where they're throwing the flags, his deep ball percentage that is not us.
To be fair, here's what we've said. Ben needs to get out of some plays. He needs to sometimes get out of some plays. And instead of just running them in those deep boxes, that we did say that, and I said it, and I still think it's true. But I'm still also the guy that thinks Ben Roethlisberger is better quarterback than the idiot that just lost to the Colts and isn't as good as everybody thinks he is, and his stupid commercials with Patrick Mahomes are annoying.
That's Rod or Rogers. Yeah, we weren't talking smack on Ben at all. In fact, we were talking about how he was completing like 70% of his passes, and I think what it was our sarcasm didn't come off across as well as it could be. We were actually channeling some other people on Twitter, some of the talking heads that you were just talking about, that were saying he was washed up, finished, and he's holding this team, and he's holding this team back. That was not us. That was not us.
That was sarcasm. Ben is holding his team back. Trust me, it's sarcasm.
Yeah, so I definitely had to bring up that comment. And then the other one I'm sure you saw, Terry, if you're listening, you got to go back to YouTube and compliment on the guy who said, this is like watching football with my grandma. And now I'm going to go run and hide somewhere over here.
He didn't say that to us, right? He said that.
No. He did not call you Gramps. So I'm not old enough to be Gramps yet. You might be old enough to be Gramps. So
I could have grandchildren. You could too. It's just you'd have had to have sex when you were really small.
That's a messed up way of looking at it. But anyways, folks, that'll do it for us here at Steel City Underground. We appreciate all of your support to all of our listeners and viewers that are out there. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you happen to be somewhere that's not in the like, comment, subscribe area, leave us a review. That's always good too. You could just click on the few stars on there, and I know we got some of those. I got to catch up on some of those too on the Apple Podcast. There's some that are absolutely great to read, and we'll have to do like some the hate mail, like some of the late night talk show hosts do at one of these points.
Don't give us hate mail just to try and get on hate mail, though.
Nah, don't do that. No, we want you to give us 5 stars, glowing
Be nice.
recommendations. 4.3 right now at 102. I think we could do a little bit better than that, although it's probably better than some of the competition, I would imagine.
How many of these have we done?
Lifetime? The shows? Yeah. I don't know. I had to remove quite a few from YouTube. Let me see. I could probably find a number for you.
Just curious, because I saw somebody else, one of the other Steelers podcast hosts out there was talking about how they're hitting their 400th episode, and I keep thinking, holy crap! How many of these have we done?
We've done more. I mean, I don't know about individually, me and you, but cumulative as our entire platform. We have over 400. If somebody's doing 400 and they haven't been around as long as we have, then they must be doing them daily. 684 is the tally that I have. I know. It seems crazy, doesn't it?
We need 6 more, is what you're telling me.
6 more to get the 690.
So we can get 690.
Yes.
6 more.
Very nice. Very nice. So now that we have turned everyone off, for the 5% of you that are still here and listening. So
if you're still listening and you're still watching, if you remember, I jumped off a hotel. Hotel in Las Vegas. I did it twice. The coolest one was at night. I'm going to be sending Joe the file, and it should be on the end of this podcast. If you haven't watched this on YouTube, that's the reason to come to YouTube, so you can watch me jump off a hotel.
Or I'm going to put it individually. I haven't decided yet.
You decide what you're going to do.
Yeah, we'll figure out. We'll have it out there for everyone to see. We can put it out on, how long's the clip? We can put it out on social media, too.
It's not that long. It's like 35 seconds, something like that.
Oh, if it's only like 35 seconds, that'll fit on the other stuff. So look for that, folks. We'll put that out on the Steel City Underground stuff. That's what we'll do, Brian. And we can put it on YouTube, too, if you want. So it should make you happy. So anyways, thanks for joining me once again, my friend. We're getting long in the tooth here, and we got more to talk about with a short turnaround for Thursday Night Football.
Some up. Yeah, we gotta, just like the Steelers did this week, saved up some of the stuff for Thursday. We got to save something for the pregame.
Absolutely. So my name's Joe. His name, somewhere over there. Which way do I got to point? His name is Brian. And that's Brian's bobblehead, if you could see it. Until next time, we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.